The church bells tolled like a death knell as I stood at the altar, my hands clammy and my heart pounding in protest. Forced into this marriage by my family's crumbling business empire, I glanced at the man beside me, Ethan Hargrove, the infamous CEO whose icy demeanor could freeze hell itself. Little did I know, the real shock was waiting in the shadows of our new home, where the servant who greeted me with a knowing smile was none other than Ethan in disguise. My name is Mason Thompson, and at 25, I thought I'd escaped the clutches of my conservative family's expectations. Growing up in a small town in upstate New York, I'd hidden my sexuality for years, fearing the backlash from a community where tradition reigned supreme. But when my father's company teetered on bankruptcy, he struck a deal with Hargrove Industries, a merger sealed by marriage. Ethan, 32 and openly gay in the cutthroat world of corporate America, agreed without batting an eye. "It's just business," he said during our one awkward meeting, his voice as cold as his steel blue eyes. The wedding was a farce, attended by suits and socialites who whispered about the progressive alliance. My father beamed, oblivious to my resentment, while my mother dabbed at fake tears. Ethan recited vows like a boardroom pitch, and I mumbled mine through gritted teeth. As we exchanged rings, I felt like a pawn in a game I never wanted to play. That night, we flew to his sprawling estate in the Hamptons, a mansion that screamed old money and isolation. Upon arrival, a young man in a crisp uniform opened the door. "Welcome home, Mr. Thompson Hargrove," he said with a slight bow. His name was James, or so he claimed, but something about his posture, the confident tilt of his head, the piercing gaze, felt eerily familiar. Ethan excused himself immediately, citing urgent work, leaving me alone with this servant who seemed too polished for menial tasks. Over the next few days, Ethan was a ghost in his own home, appearing only for meals where our conversations were clipped and formal. "How was your day?" I'd ask, and he'd reply with a curt "productive," burying his face in his tablet. The isolation gnawed at me. I missed my friends in the city, the freedom of my old life. But James was different. He lingered during my solitary walks in the garden, offering coffee with a side of conversation. "You seem tense, sir. Anything I can do?" he'd ask, his voice warm, a stark contrast to Ethan's chill. One evening, as rain pelted the windows, I confided in James about the marriage. "It's all a sham," I admitted, staring into the fireplace. "Ethan doesn't care about me. It's just a contract." James listened intently, his hand brushing mine as he refilled my glass. A spark ignited, unexpected and forbidden. Was it loneliness or something more? I pulled away, guilt twisting in my gut. Falling for the help while married to the boss. What a cliché. But the conflicts escalated. My family called daily, pressuring me to make it work for the sake of the business. "Think of your siblings," my father urged. Society's eyes were on us too. Tabloids speculated about our power couple status, ignoring the undercurrents of coercion. Ethan, meanwhile, grew colder, snapping at staff and disappearing for hours. I began to question his motives. Why agree to this? Was it pity, or a calculated move to absorb our company? James became my anchor. We talked late into the night about dreams and regrets. He shared stories of a tough upbringing, mirroring my own struggles with identity. Coming out wasn't easy, he confessed one night under the stars. But it's worth it for authenticity. His words resonated, stirring emotions I'd suppressed. Yet doubt crept in. Why did James avoid certain topics like his employer? And why did Ethan seem to watch us from afar, his expression unreadable? The first major clash came during a dinner party Ethan hosted for investors. Dressed in a tux that felt like a straitjacket, I played the dutiful spouse, smiling through gritted teeth. But when a guest made a snide remark about gay marriages saving failing businesses, I snapped. "It's not a joke," I retorted, my voice shaking. Ethan intervened smoothly, but later, in private, he berated me. "Control yourself, Mason. This is bigger than your feelings." Hurt and angry, I stormed out, finding solace in the kitchen with James. "He's impossible," I vented. James hugged me briefly, a gesture that lingered too long. In that moment, I realized my attraction wasn't just platonic. But loyalty to my vows, however forced, held me back. Little did I know, the web of deception was about to unravel, pulling me into a storm of emotions and revelations. As weeks turned to months, the estate felt like a gilded cage. Ethan's absences grew longer, business trips that left me rattling around alone. James filled the void, teaching me chess in the library, sharing laughs over late-night snacks. Our bond deepened, laced with unspoken tension. I found myself comparing him to Ethan, the warmth versus the frost, the empathy against the indifference. Society's pressures mounted. My old friends distanced themselves, uncomfortable with the arranged aspect of my life. "It's not natural," one said, echoing the homophobic undertones I'd fought against. Family gatherings were tense, with relatives questioning if I was happy in this union. Ethan's world was no better. Board members whispered about stability, implying our marriage was a PR stunt. One afternoon, while Ethan was supposedly away, I caught James in Ethan's study, rifling through drawers. "What are you doing?" I demanded. He froze, then smiled sheepishly. "Just organizing, sir." But the lie hung heavy. That night, doubts festered. Who was James really? A spy? A thief? The turning point came during a fierce argument with Ethan upon his return. "Why do you even bother coming back?" I shouted. "This marriage is a joke." His eyes flashed with something hurt before he stormed off. Exhausted, I sought James, only to find the servant quarters empty. Panic set in as I searched the house, culminating in Ethan's bedroom, where I discovered a disguise kit. Wigs, contacts, makeup. Heart racing, I confronted Ethan the next morning. "Who is James?" I demanded. He sighed, removing his glasses. "Mason, there's something you need to know." Ethan's confession hit like a thunderbolt. "James is me," he admitted, his voice steady but his eyes betraying vulnerability. "I've been disguising myself to get to know the real you, without the walls of our forced marriage." Stunned, I backed away, betrayal coursing through me like poison. How could he play this game, invading my trust under false pretenses? The revelation shattered the fragile equilibrium of our lives. I replayed every conversation with James, realizing the depth of the deception. Those late-night talks, the shared vulnerabilities, they were all Ethan, probing my soul while hiding his own. "Why?" I whispered, tears stinging my eyes. "To see if you were worth it," he replied. "My past relationships were disasters, built on lies and greed. I needed to know if you saw me as more than a paycheck." But his explanation only fueled my anger. In a world where gay men already faced scrutiny, this felt like a violation of the little trust we had. "You manipulated me," I accused, pretended to be someone else while I bared my heart. Ethan reached out, but I flinched. "I was protecting myself," he insisted. "And us. If this marriage failed publicly, it could ruin both our families." The fallout was immediate. I moved to a guest room, avoiding him at all costs. Meals became silent battles, the air thick with unspoken words. Society's gaze intensified. Rumors swirled about our troubled paradise, with tabloids speculating on infidelity. My father called, furious. "Fix this, Mason. The merger depends on stability." But how could I fix a foundation built on sand? Internally, I grappled with conflicting emotions. Part of me hated Ethan for the lie, but another part remembered the warmth of James, the man who listened without judgment. Was that the real Ethan, buried under layers of corporate armor? Or just another facade? My choices weighed heavy. Stay and fight for something real, or leave and face the social backlash of a failed high-profile gay marriage. Friends offered conflicting advice. My best friend, Marco, urged independence. "You deserve honesty, not games." But my sister, ever practical, warned of consequences. "Divorce now and Dad's company tanks. Think about the jobs, the families affected." The societal conflicts loomed large, homophobia disguised as concern, the pressure on queer couples to be perfect role models. Ethan tried to bridge the gap. He left notes, small gestures like my favorite coffee brewed just right. "I'm sorry," one read. "Let me explain properly." But pride held me back. One evening, he cornered me in the garden. "Mason, my childhood was hell. My father disowned me when I came out, then forced me back for the business. I've built walls to survive." His vulnerability cracked my resolve, but trust was shattered. The drama escalated at a charity gala, where we had to present a united front. Smiling for cameras, I felt like a fraud. A reporter probed, "How's married life treating you?" Ethan squeezed my hand, but I pulled away subtly. Later, in the limo, words exploded. "I can't keep pretending," I said. "This disguise thing, it's creepy invasive." He nodded, defeated. "I know, but it showed me you're kind, genuine. Everything I'm not." That night, I lay awake, torn between forgiveness and flight. The next day, I discovered Ethan's secret journal in the study. Entries about his fears, his growing affection for me through James. "He's more than I expected," one read. "But will he ever see the real me?" Dehumanized him, revealing a man scarred by rejection, using deception as a shield. Yet, the conflicts weren't just personal. Broader societal issues intruded. Protests against corporate greed, where Hargrove Industries was accused of exploiting workers. As Ethan's spouse, I was implicated, facing online hate from LGBTQ+ activists who saw our marriage as a symbol of elitism. "Rich gays throwing money at problems," one tweet read. To force me to question my role, stay silent, or use my position for change. I confronted Ethan about the company's practices. "We need to do better," I urged. Surprisingly, he agreed, proposing reforms. It was a glimmer of partnership, but trust lingered as the barrier. Slowly, we started talking, not as husband and servant, but as equals. He shared stories of his rise to CEO, the loneliness at the top. I opened up about my fears of being defined by this marriage. But old wounds festered. During a family visit, my conservative uncle made derogatory remarks about "your kind." Ethan defended me fiercely, but it highlighted the external pressures. "See, this is what we face," he said later. "Together, we're stronger." His words tempted me, but the betrayal echoed. As tensions built, a crisis hit. A leak about Ethan's disguise, twisted by media into a scandal. "CEO spies on spouse," headlines screamed. Public outrage ensued, with debates on privacy in marriages, especially queer ones. Supporters praised it as romantic. Critics called it abusive. I had to decide: stand by him or denounce the deception. In the midst of chaos, we had our first real kiss. Not forced, but tentative, born of shared pain. Complicated everything, blurring lines between hate and hope. But was it enough? The high society event loomed, where our appearance could make or break reputations. Navigating this minefield, I realized love wasn't simple, especially under societal scrutiny. Choices defined us: forgive and build, or walk away and reclaim autonomy. The storm was far from over, with more revelations waiting in the wings. The scandal exploded like wildfire, consuming our fragile peace. Paparazzi camped outside the estate, shouting questions about the servant charade. Ethan's board demanded explanations, threatening to oust him for unprofessional conduct. In the eye of the storm, I stood at a crossroads. Defend the man who deceived me, or let the world tear him down. Public opinion split sharply. LGBTQ+ forums buzzed with debates. Some saw Ethan's actions as a quirky rom-com plot, others as a breach of consent. In a world that forces us into closets, why add more lies? One commenter wrote. Straight allies chimed in, questioning if gay marriages were real enough without such drama. The societal conflicts amplified our personal ones, turning our home into a battlefield. Ethan faced the press alone at first, his statement measured. It was a mistake, born of fear. I apologized to Mason and the public. But the damage was done. Stocks dipped, and my family's business suffered collateral hits. My father blamed me, You should have kept it quiet. The pressure to salvage the merger pushed me toward reconciliation, but my heart rebelled. In private, Ethan unraveled. I've lost everything, he confessed one night, head in hands. But losing you hurts most. His raw emotion pierced my armor. I remembered James, the laughs, the empathy, and saw glimpses in Ethan now. Tentatively, we rebuilt couples therapy, where we unpacked the deception. I felt invisible as CEO, he explained. As James, I was seen. Therapy unearthed my own issues. Resentment toward my family for the arrangement. Internalized homophobia from years of hiding. You chose this too, the therapist noted. It was true. I'd agreed to save the company, prioritizing duty over self. Our sessions became a space for honesty, fostering tentative trust. But external forces conspired against us. A rival CEO, sensing weakness, launched a smear campaign, leaking fabricated stories of Ethan's predatory behavior. Social media erupted with hashtags like Cancel Hargrove trending. As a gay couple in the spotlight, we became symbols, proof that queer love was flawed or resilient against odds. I took a stand at a press conference, my voice steady. What Ethan did was wrong, but it's our story to fix. Judgment from outsiders doesn't help. The response was mixed. Support from progressives, backlash from traditionalists. It sparked national conversations on privacy in relationships, especially for public figures. Amid the turmoil, our bond deepened. We shared quiet moments, walks on the beach, cooking together, rediscovering each other without disguises. Ethan's cold facade cracked, revealing a man capable of warmth. I love you, Mason, he whispered one evening, stars overhead. My heart fluttered, but doubt lingered. Was this real or another act? Family dynamics shifted too. My mother, once distant, reached out. I'm proud of you for fighting. It healed old wounds, but my father's stubbornness persisted, viewing emotions as weaknesses. Ethan's estranged family resurfaced, offering olive branches laced with conditions. A pivotal conflict arose when an ex of Ethan's appeared, claiming the disguise was a pattern. He did it to me too, she alleged in an interview. Ethan was bisexual in his youth. The accusation rocked me, forcing a confrontation. Is it true? I demanded. Ethan denied it vehemently. She wants revenge for a bad breakup. Investigations proved her claims false, but the seed of doubt grew. We navigated therapy's rough waters, addressing power imbalances, the CEO and the arranged spouse. Equality is key, our counselor stressed. Ethan stepped back from work, delegating to prove commitment. I pursued my passion for art, opening a gallery with his support. It empowered me, balancing the scales. Societal debates raged on. A documentary crew approached us for a tell-all, promising to highlight queer struggles. We debated participating. Expose our vulnerabilities for awareness, or protect our privacy. It could help others, Ethan argued. I agreed, but with reservations. As high-profile events resumed, we attended a pride gala arm-in-arm, facing stares and whispers. A heckler shouted, "Fake love!" Ethan pulled me close, whispering, "Ignore them." In that moment, solidarity bloomed. But the night ended in chaos when protesters stormed, decrying corporate influence in LGBTQ+ spaces. Exhausted, we retreated home, questioning if our love could withstand the scrutiny. Maybe we should have never started this, I mused. Ethan shook his head. No regrets. You're worth it. His conviction swayed me, but tensions simmered. The climax built toward a board meeting where Ethan's fate hung in balance. I testified on his behalf, sharing our journey. He's more than his mistakes. The board relented, but with stipulations. Victory tasted bittersweet, shadowed by ongoing public discourse. Through it all, emotions swirled. Love tangled with resentment, hope clashing with fear. Choices loomed. Embrace the chaos or seek solitude. As we moved forward, the world watched, judging every step. With the board's reprieve, a fragile calm settled over our lives, but the undercurrents of conflict persisted. Ethan's reforms at the company, fair wages, inclusive policies, earned praise from activists, shifting some public opinion. Yet personal demons haunted us, testing the foundations we'd rebuilt. One evening, over dinner, Ethan proposed a vow renewal, not forced but chosen. To start fresh, he said, eyes hopeful. I hesitated, memories of deception flashing. I need time, I replied. The request sparked internal turmoil. Forgive fully or hold on to grudges. Society's expectations weighed in, queer couples as beacons of perfection. No room for messiness. Family pressures resurfaced. My sister visited, bearing news of Dad's health scare. He wants grandkids, she joked, but the undertone was serious. Adoption discussions arose, complicating our dynamic. Ethan was open, but I questioned readiness. After all this, can we handle more scrutiny? Public debates on gay parenting fueled my doubts, with conservatives decrying unnatural families. A new twist emerged. An anonymous letter arrived, threatening to expose more secrets unless we paid. Blackmail. Ethan suspected the rival CEO, but investigations stalled. The fear reignited paranoia. Was our home safe? We hired security, turning the estate into a fortress. In the tension, we clung together, intimacy growing from shared adversity. Therapy delved deeper. Deception stems from trauma, our counselor noted. Ethan opened about his father's abuse, the pressure to man up. I shared my own scars. Bullying in school for being different. Understanding bred empathy, but healing was nonlinear. Arguments flared. You still don't trust me, he'd accuse. Can you blame me? I'd retort. Societal backlash evolved. A viral op-ed praised our redemption arc, but critics labeled it performative. We participated in the documentary, bearing souls on camera. Love isn't linear, I said in an interview. The film sparked conversations, humanizing us beyond headlines. But controversy peaked when Ethan's ex resurfaced with evidence. Faked photos of him in disguise during their relationship. Though debunked, it damaged our credibility. Online trolls attacked, questioning my judgment. Why stay with a liar? Friends divided. Some supported, others urged separation. In a moment of crisis, I fled to the city, seeking space. Staying with Marco, I reflected on choices. Do I love Ethan, or the idea of us? Nights alone clarified. The warmth, the growth, we'd evolved together. Returning home, I found Ethan distraught. I thought I'd lost you. Our reunion was passionate, reaffirming commitment. Yet, the blackmailer struck again, leaking minor company secrets. Ethan confronted the rival publicly, leading to a lawsuit. The legal battle drained us, but victory came when evidence implicated the ex as an accomplice. Justice served, but scars remained. As we healed, we focused on us. Weekend getaways, simple joys, picnics, stargazing. Ethan's coldness thawed completely, replaced by genuine affection. I pursued my art full-time with his encouragement. Society's gaze softened. We became reluctant role models, speaking at events on resilience in queer relationships. But not all was resolved. Family reconciliation lagged. My father resisted therapy, clinging to old views. Business first, he grumbled. Ethan's family offered tentative support, but conditions attached. We navigated these minefields, choosing boundaries. A final twist. During a routine check, we discovered adoption paperwork Ethan had started secretly. I wanted to surprise you, he admitted. Anger flared. Another secret? But his intent was pure. We discussed openly, deciding to proceed, embracing the challenges. Highs and lows intertwined, building to a crescendo. At the vow renewal, a small, intimate affair on the beach, we exchanged promises from the heart. I choose you, flaws and all, I vowed. Tears flowed, sealing our bond. Yet, doubts whispered. Was this happily ever after, or another chapter in drama? Society's evolving acceptance offered hope, but personal choices defined our path. The vow renewal marked a turning point, but life rarely ties up neatly. Months later, As we navigated adoption processes, societal hurdles emerged anew. Background checks delved into our scandal, with agencies questioning stability. "Your past raises concerns," one caseworker said bluntly. It ignited debates on whether queer couples with baggage deserved parenthood. Ethan threw himself into advocacy, lobbying for inclusive policies. I joined, channeling energy into art that depicted queer struggles. Our gallery exhibit, Unmasked, drew crowds, sparking conversations on deception and forgiveness in relationships. Critics hailed it. Detractors called it exploitative. Personal growth continued. Ethan retired from CEO duties, passing the torch to a successor, prioritizing us. "No more walls," he promised. I flourished creatively, but imposter syndrome lingered. Was I defined by our story or my own merits? Family ties mended slowly. My father, facing mortality, softened. "I'm sorry for pushing you," he admitted during a visit. Ethan's family followed suit, attending a holiday dinner without agendas. It wasn't perfect, but progress. Yet, conflicts persisted. A new scandal brewed when a former employee sued Hargrove Industries for discrimination, claiming Ethan's distractions led to oversight. Though unfounded, it reopened wounds. Public discourse raged. Can gay leaders balance personal and professional without fallout? We weathered it together, therapy a constant. Emotions peaked during adoption interviews, where we bared vulnerabilities. Approval came, but with probation. The joy was tempered by reality, parenthood under scrutiny. As we prepared for our child, reflections deepened. Choices shaped us. Ethan's deception, my forgiveness, our resilience. Society evolved, but prejudices lingered, forcing constant vigilance. In quiet moments, love shone. Ethan, once cold, now radiated warmth. "You're my anchor," he'd say. I believed him, trust fully restored. But the journey taught harsh lessons. Love in the spotlight demanded sacrifices, questioning if privacy was a luxury lost. Looking back, the disguise that started it all became a metaphor for hiding truths, unveiling hearts. We emerged stronger, but at what cost? Was Ethan's initial deception justifiable in a world that demands perfection from queer relationships? Or was it an unforgivable breach of trust that should have ended everything?